Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, folks, just like promised, we're back right now. We're taping live. The mic is hot. Brand new show for the year 2019, huh? For you out there want to go back and listen to the show later, this is Season 5, Episode 28. Season 5, Episode 28. And the topic of the show tonight is who's going to the Super Bowl and why? I know why. Because the Falcons ain't going. The Falcons ain't going this year, but I want to know why. I want you to tell me why, Atlanta. I want you to text me. I want you to send me a text, email, tweet, or whatever you guys call it. Let me know why you think Atlanta's not going to Super Bowl. But I got my man Big Time on the other end. He's standing by waiting on us to kick this thing off tonight. And tonight, folks, it's my birthday. Thank y'all out there for the tweets. I've been looking at the tweets for people that's been hitting me up and saying happy birthday. I appreciate that, guys. Appreciate that family. Appreciate that friends. But hey, tonight it's all about the Falcons. It's all about the Super Bowl. Some people I heard is not happy. It's not happy with the opportunity that the Saints might be coming to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We're going to talk about it, though. We're going to talk about it for sure. Big Time, man, we're going to talk about it?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
All right, man.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Come on in. Come on in.
Let me remind the folks right quick where they can catch the show at night. Tell their friends. It's live right here on Facebook, and we're taping the show, but it'll be out actually probably an hour after the show. But you can catch our show on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, iTunes, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and I'm sure there's a couple others out there. Emails at themicishot@gmail.com with your questions, your comments. Or call, well, you can't call in at night, so the call is not set up, but YouTube set up. I see people already watching the show, and so with that, I got so much stuff going on tonight, guys. You understand it? I'm moving to another level. I say every year I got to do something different, and the Facebook thing is the newest for this year. But Big Time, I think we're gonna open the show up. I'm gonna get this music turned down a little bit. It's kind of loud. I love this music, man. What's it at? Y'all have to forgive me, folks. I know this live radio, and I should have my stuff together a little bit better than what I do, but hey, that's all right. That's all right. Once again, folks, my buddy, my friend, been knowing a long time, my co-host, Big Time. What say you, buddy, about those Atlanta Falcons?
What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? We back on the hot mic tonight. I'm glad to be back on this mic. We're glad to be back in this place. Talk about what is going on. Talk about what is coming up. And we're also going to close out what happened last year to our great Falcons and many other sports conversations. But we're feeling good tonight, people.
Okay. Hey, Sherry, I got a couple people on the line. I'm going to let you guys know. I got Kenny, my cousin, on that shit. Sherry, my cousin, y'all looking on. You said bring on the camera. I don't know exactly what that is because I'm new on this Facebook thing. Big Time's not here right now. He's at another location, so we actually talking to him at his location. So, hey, look, I'm just sitting in the studio by myself like I normally do. But, hey, look, we got a lot of information for you guys, and we might talk a little bit about those Alabama Roll Tide.
I grew up with a great
who is that
group of
talking?
women in my family. My godmother.
Y'all bear with me now because I'm going to make some mistakes. I'm going to tell you right now, but I'm going to do my best. But Big Time, first thing first, we started off this year with, let me get my notes up here. I got to get notes up, man, because I got a whole bunch of stuff in front of me. I'm trying to make sure. But in 2 weeks, the Super Bowl will be coming to Atlanta, Georgia. And there's 4 teams. We're going to have to decide between the New Orleans Saints and talk to me, Big Time. Help me out here. I'm trying to get a screen up and talk at the same time.
We got New Orleans Saints, the Rams, and the Kansas City Chiefs, and the New England Patriots. 2 of those 4 teams are going to be here in Atlanta in about the first week in February.
And we talked briefly today about this game, and we there's people in Atlanta. There's a lot of people here that live in Atlanta that does not like the idea or the notion that the New Orleans Saints could be coming to the ATL and playing for the Super Bowl. But unlike yourself, Big Time, it bothers me, and I think what bothers me more is that we got to give up our training facility to let the Saints come in and because they're the NFC championships, to come into our house. And I don't think nobody wants to do that. And so the Falcons don't really have a choice anymore. Most Falcons fans this week are pulling for the Rams and hoping the Rams will take this thing over. I mean, we don't like New England either. New England and the Chiefs. I would rather see. I think I would rather see New England come in, because if the Saints do make it, I think New England can beat the Saints. I'm not sure about the Kansas City Chiefs. What do you think?
Well, we're going to do a lot of talk about the Falcons tonight later on, but I like to say first, before I delve into this 4 teams that left, what's more difficult for me to accept, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that Atlanta Falcons are not one of the 4 teams that's left and have a chance to play this game in Atlanta. That's neither here nor there now. It's happened, so we got to focus on what we have. As a Falcon fan, I do not want the New Orleans Saints to have to come here. However, if they do, I'll have to accept what has happened. I think there's a very good chance that they could come, but there's also a chance that they could not come.
Right.
I like the Rams. I like what the Rams are bringing to the table. And the Rams have a very good team, and the Rams have, to me, a better defense than the Saints. And the Rams lost that first game, and I don't think Todd Gurley was as healthy as he is this game. So there's a good chance that the Saints could lose this game, even though they're the favorite. And if they don't win, ain't nothing we can do about it. Just accept what it is. We still have one more chance if they win for them to lose, because I would, in many respects, love nothing better than they get to the Super Bowl if they happen to get there. I don't want them to get there.
Right.
But I don't want to see the celebration
right.
that's going to go on, with their fans and all the talk about what they're doing here and what they won't do and so forth and so on. While in Atlanta, I'd rather not see that.
Right.
But if I have to see that, I would love for it to be finished off with them losing the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
In our stadium.
Absolutely.
So we still have 2 for 1, if you will, people. What I mean by 2 for 1. We got a chance that they can lose on Sunday, and we got a chance that they can lose in the Super Bowl. We are putting the emphasis on them because, again, I think the Falcons fans' general consensus across the board is we don't want to see that team win. And it's all centered around the rivalry, and it's also centered around the fact that our team isn't there. We can't do anything about it but have a conversation like we're doing tonight.
Exactly. And I want the people out there to listen. I know I got a couple people listening right now, and I know more people out there probably listen, but they're not tuning in. But guys, if you're listening out there, I want to give Atlanta an opportunity to tune in and give us some feedback. I mean, this is a show. It's called The Mic is Hot, and we do a lot. If you've never seen that show before, your opinion is very important. And at some point in time, we're going to be moving out and going to some locations. We've already been offered the opportunity to go out to Taco Mac and do a live remote there. We're not ready for that yet, so we're still moving our way up the ladder. But we want your opinion. We want you guys to call in, and we want you guys to text in or let us know what do you feel about this topic tonight. If you're an Atlanta fan or not an Atlanta fan, how do you feel about the Saints coming into Atlanta and staying in the Falcons facility and playing for a chance to win the Super Bowl? If you guys have any concerns about that, please text in on that. All right. Going back to what I was looking at before, I was going to say in the league this year, out of all the teams, we started off with how many teams? 16. Let me see here.
What do you mean? What do you mean, the playoffs?
The playoffs.
Oh yeah, the playoffs. There were 8 teams in each conference, and it came down to these 2 teams. When you look at on the NFC,
actually it was
the best 2.
Actually, it was 16. 16 teams. 16 teams.
It's 16, and then you got the playoff.
Right.
You got the wild card.
Exactly.
So the wild cards are 2 extra teams. I think it will be a total of 8 teams that enter the playoffs.
Right.
But when you look at the NFC, I think we would have to agree that these were the best 2 teams this year.
Right.
The first game that they played was a preview of what could be this game. I doubt we'll have the type of high scoring that we did in that first game that they played. But if we flip over to the AFC, you got there was a high prediction by many down the stretch that the Pittsburgh Steelers would have been the team that represented the one of the teams representing the AFC. No one thought.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm speaking correctly. I didn't think, I can only speak for me, that it would have been the Kansas City Chiefs. Andy Reid have did a very good job for this franchise ever since he was picked as a head coach over there.
Right.
But for some reason, each and every year, they will find a way to lose in the playoffs. They have finally reached the hump to get to this level. Having said that, I do not believe, it's got to be proven to me on Sunday that they can beat the New England Patriots in these situations.
Patriots have. You mean Kansas? I mean
the Kansas
you mean
City,
the Chiefs?
I don't believe Kansas City. I don't believe Kansas City can beat New England in this situation.
Okay.
New England have proven from every year that we can think of, whether they, I know there were a few years over the last 5 or 6 years or more, longer that they haven't made the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
I mean, made it to the Super Bowl. But in most situations, the New England Patriots win these type of games.
Right.
Now, take into account you have an older Tom Brady. You have a team that defense isn't as good, but their offense is high profile. I think the New England Patriots offense probably is one of the better offenses they've had in a long time.
Right.
Because what they have now is what they haven't had in a long time in the past. I won't say big time in this position. That is the running back.
Uh-huh.
They got a nice running back in the kid out of Georgia. He's a rookie, but this kid has ran well this year.
Ken.
They picked him for this type of game. I just don't see them losing this game, even though it's supposed to be record-breaking low temperatures in Kansas City.
Uh-huh.
Being from New England, the Patriots, I think they're used to that weather, other conditions. I just see it being a close game, but New England will win.
But let me comment on that. I mean, like I said before, I think we had this conversation before. I talked to you or somebody who spoke about it. One thing about it, there's 3 seasons in the NFL. There's preseason, there's regular season, and there's postseason. And one thing about postseason is nothing like the regular season. You can throw away all the records, all the touchdowns, everything that happened in the regular season, you can forget about it. Because, the win, this person beat this team, this person beat that team. Right now, when you're in the postseason, the bottom line is you win or go home. And a lot of times when you're watching this postseason, you see teams that go out there and just like last week, one play can make a difference. A missed field goal, a drop pass can make a big difference in the ball game. So I wouldn't dare bet on this game. I got my favorites. Don't get me wrong. I mean, one thing we are definitely saying New Orleans is a good team, but I think these New Orleans and the Rams are 2 evenly matched teams, and I'm definitely pulling for the Rams. But I couldn't tell you that one team is better than the other team. I know both teams playing well. You had to play well to get to this point. I mean, look at New England and Kansas City. Nobody would have thought that they would be here right now. And like you were saying, the weather's going to be cold there, and they're used to it. But at the same time, if you have to give an advantage to a team, I would give it to the home team. And even though New England's playing well, they got to go to Kansas City and play on their own field. And those bad weather conditions, like I said, it only takes a missed field goal, just like we saw last week, and to determine the ball game. Atlanta, I want to know from you guys.
That's a very good point. That is about the being a home field and the weather conditions. Those could be the 2 factors that will benefit Kansas City, because you're outside, it's cold, snowing probably. Then they're at home. When you go down into the Superdome, they are at home with the crowd and the favorite of the momentum. I just think that, it's a favor to New Orleans, but that game to me is more of, and let me retract what I said earlier.
Uh-huh.
I have to agree with you, Dennis, that both these games are probably a toss-up game. It's going to be hard to call who wins. If we had to predict who would win these games, you would probably have to lead toward the home field team.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I want to hear from Atlanta guys. I know you out there. I know guys. Some of you guys are fanning through Facebook. Let me know in this playoff, the conference finals, who you think will win, whether it's your team or not. Send me a text, send me a tweet or whatever you call it here, and let me know if you think Kansas City will beat New England, or New England beat Kansas City. Tell me, and I'm going to shout you out here on the screen and let you know who thinks going to win. Also, New Orleans and the Rams. Whether you're in Atlanta or not, family out there, you guys on tune in on the show. Let me know who you think will win and who you like. One thing I want to say too, next week, guys, I'm going to have another line for you. I promise you, I'm going to have another phone line. So I'll say call in. All you got to do is call in. I'm going to plug in with myself and Big Time, and you guys can talk to me as well on the air. But work with me here. I'm not just, I don't want to sit here and just talk myself and Big Time. I want you guys to be a little interactive with me and let me know. I see you looking on, Kenny, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the birthday wishes. I appreciate that. And just say, hey, I like this team. I like that team. Big Time?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So we're going to see what happens. Again, we hope it's not New Orleans coming to Atlanta. I was reading a column today that if the New Orleans Saints does come to Atlanta and they happen to win the Super Bowl, they warned that Atlanta better get ready for a party by the Saints fans that they haven't seen in a long time.
Oh, Lord.
And they said, and the writer said it in a way that suggests that the Saints fans are very rowdy and they are very outgoing, and I can imagine how it is. So Atlanta, be prepared. We are used to these type of events, regardless of what happened. I'm glad that the Super Bowl is here. I just hope and pray for a safe game, a safe crowds, going and coming.
Okay,
we'll leave it like that.
I got two comments I want to speak on them for, because this screen kind of rolls up and I don't want to miss anybody. Janet says New Orleans is going to win. Why she said that, I don't know. I got all these different quotations behind there. Janet says New Orleans. Janet, let me know if that's who you like, New Orleans, or you think they're a better team. And Kenny says it's going to be the Rams. Hey, go Kenny. I go with that, man. Same thing. Do you like is that your team, or you just like the talent that they bring to the game? And anybody else want to comment? We're still waiting out there. Let's keep talking, Big Time. When somebody come up on the text, I want to go ahead and shout them out, and because the screen will roll up and I won't see who it is, and I don't want to miss anybody. I want to give everybody credit for.
Yeah, we'll throw. Let's see what everyone says. As we'll move on to the Falcons and what they did in the coaching move. I'm very still intrigued by the fact that we made a lot of moves off the season. After the season was over. Again, we didn't get the type of season we wanted. Let me ask you this question, Dan, as we continue here. What do you think about the move that the Falcons made after the season over, particularly in the coaching staff?
Okay, like I told you before, man, and hey, this is just my opinion. Hey, and I don't hate on anybody's opinion. Everybody got their opinion, but just like last year, I told you how I felt about Sarkisian, and of course he's gone this year. Going back, I think I'll repeat so people out there probably didn't hear what we talked about before. I'm not crazy about the decision on the coaching changes. I mean, we had, I think it was 3 different coaching changes, or actually 4 different coaching changes. Mike Mularkey was here before. Let's see what we got here. Mike Mularkey, Ben Kuznick, he's the special team coordinator. Mike Mularkey, he's the offensive coordinator. No, he's a tight end coach. And Dan Quinn is taking over as the defense coordinator. Who else we have down here?
And the offensive coordinator, Derek Cutter.
Derek Cutter, right. And the reason I don't like that, because I think one of my phrases I always use every year is that you get better or you get worse. You don't stay the same. Teams don't stay the same. You either get better in this league or you get worse, because teams are continuously to get better throughout the league. You got younger players and faster players coming into the league. And there's coaches out there that can actually make, in the NFL, they're making decisions sometimes play by play, because they come out with a game plan, but in the second half of the ball game, like New Orleans, for example, they'll come out with a whole different game plan and change it up on you. Let's see. She said, hold on, sister. Janet said New Orleans is a better team, and I like them. Okay. We're going to talk about that later, Janice. But you like New Orleans. You live in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's your opinion. And like I said, I respect everybody's opinion. You like New Orleans over Atlanta. Okay. All right. I almost lost my train of thought there.
Well, let me respond to Dennis, to you regarding this coaching change.
Well, I hadn't finished yet, though. Let me give you a little bit more information on it, because we talked about this before, and I said let me get some notes on this thing, and let me see what's going on with that. Now it could work, but I say the problem I have with it is that you moving back, and I think it's what I could call it before, a safe move for Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn is on the hot seat right now. After what happened last year, I think that he's going to have to make some changes. And I think one of the main reasons Sarkisian is not here is because they should have never hired him in the first place. this guy's really, some of the plays he called was just not there. And that's one thing I spoke to you about early in the season. If you guys don't remember, so you go back to our pregame show, and you'll hear me talk about why I didn't like Sarkisian, because he just didn't have it. But this is a safe move. You're bringing somebody back that already knows Matt Ryan, somebody that and that's important. That's important that your quarterback is on the same page with your offensive coordinator, and because it's rough. Matt's been through a lot of offensive coordinators since he's been here, and it might work. I was going over some of the stats, and I was listening to some other people talk today about all the Matt Ryan had a pretty good year last year. He had I think you told me he had a better year last year than he did the year they won they went to the Super Bowl. But Malarkey and all these other coaches that came in, they got some pretty good statistics, man. But I want to move forward in this game. I know it might take 2 years. It might take a year and a half. But I think with Arthur Blank, if we brought a new guy here that's been seasoned in the NFL, that's been with teams, and I'm sure after all the firing out there, that's people out there that would be a good match for the Falcons, I think. But I think if you brought somebody here new to this team, we need some new meat out here, man. We need to go forward. They take a chance with Shanahan, and even though we lost after 2 years, but they took a chance with this guy, and he came in and changed things and showed Matt around some things to just like I think I would use example Drew Brees and Sean Payton. We need a quarterback on the same page with it. So it took a year for it to happen, but we need our quarterback and our offensive coordinator on the same page because, hey, one thing I mentioned to you earlier. Look at the numbers. If you look back at the numbers of what Falcons put up this year, they put up a lot of numbers. They lost a lot of ball games in the last few minutes of the ball game. A lot of times they scored 30 or more points, and we don't know what happened. They actually scored. I think Matt Ryan had more yards than Drew Brees, and I think he threw more touchdowns or something like that. I was listening to some stats on that, but it really was no reason. Only reason. Well, what was the reason? What you think was the reason? Or Atlanta, what you think the reason was the Falcons didn't make the playoffs?
Well, let me add this. Let me piggyback on what you just said. We use the example about a safe move.
Uh-huh.
I agree with that. I agree with that statement. But let me put that statement in this context. If you made a gamble move,
uh-huh.
or a move of taking a chance, or a move that was stepping forward or stepping out of the norm is what you describe it as.
Right.
Wouldn't you describe all those things I just said as a move that the Falcons made 2 years ago after Shanahan left? When they went out and got Sarkisian, we didn't know that he wouldn't do what he did.
He was not an NFL experienced coordinator. He was not experienced.
Well, I understand that. Well, I understand that, Dennis, but there are so many coaches who have come in this game. I won't say head coaches, but staff coaches, OCs, defense coordinators, offensive line, that comes in and do a real good job that never did that before.
Right.
And they haven't fit across the board, but I would have to just say, let's look at this guy who had come from a college franchise, even though he was fired that year.
Right.
He was fired at the end of the year for one game that they was going to play against in the team Crimson Tide. Atlanta picked him up. Well, that was a gamble move. That was a step up move. That was a move that was what you all described as what the Falcons ought to be doing now. Well, here's what that move proved after 2 years. It wasn't a good move. So what the Falcons should have done is what you're saying is they should go out and still make another gamble move. That's what you're saying they should do. You said, well, there are enough other guys out here already coaching and already got enough experience that can do this and that with the team. Well, to still would have been viewed as a gamble move because they never coached here under this staff. Even if they have coached somewhere else, it still was a risky move. And as you said in your conversation about this current move, you don't know if it's going to work and you don't know if it won't work. It's always a chance that you're taking. So why not take the best and the safest chance?
Right.
And this is what the Falcons did. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, I agree with that move that they made. You get rid of Sarkisian because it was proven that you made a mistake with him.
That's right.
When this team came off the Super Bowl, and although they didn't ask for their offensive coordinator to leave, he left on his own.
Right.
They couldn't stop him from leaving. We had to make a change because our offensive coordinator left. We made that move, and it proved after 2 years it was a bad move. So what you got to do? You got to say, guess what? We got to stay safe. So here's where our safest route is. Let's match our offense, which is where our problem was in the last 2 years. Let's match our offense with a offensive coordinator who has already worked with our most valuable piece on the offensive side of the ball, and that person is the quarterback. And ladies and gentlemen, like it or not, that person is Matt MVP Ryan. You got to take that. All right, why is it, again, a good, safe move?
Uh-huh.
We are already a win-now team.
Right.
This team is not building, ladies and gentlemen. This team is ready to win. This team still has the same.
We're ready to win right now, Eddie. But what you're saying, what I'm trying to say is that we can't play around if we bringing these old guys back. They couldn't get the job done before. What makes you think they're gonna get the job done now? We bring it back. We bring it back. Two old offense coordinators, and Dan Quinn's taking over the defense. What makes you think that they're gonna get the job done now and they couldn't get it done before?
Okay, here's what makes me think. Number one, when both of those guys were here, one and Mike Mularkey being the offensive coordinator, that was way further back than what Cutter. Cutter came after Mularkey. All right, Cutter went on, failed as a head coach in other franchise. Derek Cutter went to Tampa and failed.
Uh-huh.
Well, these same two guys, and I'm speaking particularly, even though we made other coaching moves, I'm speaking of these two guys because they were not here when with this current team. Yeah, we had Julio Jones, we had Matt Ryan, we had maybe a few other offensive guys and some defensive guys, but this is a total new team under a totally different head coach. And like it or not, under Dan Reeves, under Mike Smith, this team was not as good as they are back then as they are now. We got the same quarterback. We got the same receiver. Both who are mature. Both who have had good careers. And we have a totally different team. And I would have to agree, this team is better. Why? This team 2 years ago went to the Super Bowl.
Nobody agrees it's not the team. I mean, we got good players. We know Matt Ryan's a good quarterback. We know Matt Ryan could do. We got Julio Jones. We got probably the best receivers. Probably one of the best receiver corps in the NFL. But our problem is right now we got a problem with coaching. We got a problem with offensive coordinator. That's like I said before when I was talking earlier about we put up good yards. The offense put up good yards. Matt Ryan put a lot of yards up. We scored a lot, and but we came close. We scored. I look at it like this: anytime you score 30 points in a ball game, hey, look, you got a great chance of winning. I mean, you got a high chance of winning, but we can't win. So I blame that on the offensive coordinator, and solely I blame it on the head coach because it's his job to go out and get the right guy. So what are we going to do this time next year? We're going to be sitting back on this mic again talking about, that didn't work out last year. What they had.
We can't say that. We got to roll the dice. If you believe that the safe move is, if you don't believe a safe move is a good move,
we don't have time. Let me tell you something. We don't have time for a safe move because guess what? The New Orleans Saints. Where they are right now this year, most likely. Unless they get some major. Hold on. Unless they get some major injuries, our top competitor is going to be New Orleans. One thing we said before, our number one competitor is going to be our division. So we got to beat New Orleans. We got to beat the Saints.
Let me throw this in. Let me throw this in the hot mic.
Throw it in the hot mic.
But as much as I despise the New Orleans Saints, one thing I'm happy about that in the quarterback position, ladies and gentlemen, you on your way down. All you New Orleans fans out there listening, you enjoy this ride. You better hope you win because if you don't, you on a short leash when it comes to quarterback. I don't care how good your backup is. You got a quarterback that just turned 40 years old. So I don't care if we're not worried about what they're going to do. We got to worry about what we're going to do.
Eddie,
we have a quarterback and a team that's in its prime, and I like the moves, ladies and gentlemen. I like the moves.
Janet says the coaching. I agree. Janet agreed with me. It is the coaching. But let me say this: if it wasn't, and you said this today or yesterday, I remember when we talked about it. What makes Drew Brees so good? His head coach, Sean Payton, who is the offensive coordinator for that team. That's why it's very important. It's very important that we got the right coaches making the right choices. One thing the Falcons did this year that I heard recently is they chose a time management coach. They hired somebody to watch the time management. We lost the Super Bowl because of time management, and we lost ball game this year because somebody wasn't looking at the clock.
Another good
and
move.
Shouldn't be running play. That's an excellent move. It's an excellent move.
What you have to add to that whole coaching staff chain, it was a good move. Or you know what else you can define it as? What you call it earlier. It's a safe move. I like a safe move and better of a gamble move. I don't care who that OC could have been that came here to the Falcons. They would have had to. If they came in here and said, OC, I want you to run the same offense that we have been running for the last 4 years. And that OC said, yes, I'm going to do that. That OC still have to get on the same page for its cohesiveness in terms of being able to work flow well. He had to still get on the same page with Matt Ryan and that offense. And you said, well, if you're using that as an example, the same thing has to happen with Cutter. Well, here's the difference with Cutter. Here's what a slight difference with Cutter. Cutter has worked with this quarterback before. And let me remind everybody, when he worked with this quarterback was good.
His first year. Then they ran him out of town. Why they run him out of town?
No,
you tell me why they run him out of town. If he was that good, he'd still be here right now. He worked with Matt Ryan before. He did not get run out of town because him and Matt Ryan couldn't work well together. He did not run out of time. The Falcons was in a transition in that time. Guess what? They after his first year here, they brought in a running back that was already washed up in the person of Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson should have never been brought to this ball club. Turner, who we had ran on several years prior to Steven Jackson, was on his way out. Well, after that second season, they went down totally in the run game. We had Jaquez Rogers back there running the ball. With Cutter, and it wasn't Cutter decision, it was Mike Smith's decision to have Freeman sitting on the bench when he should have been in the game the year that Steven Jackson went down. Right. Steven Jackson, I remember it clearly. Steven Jackson in his second season, he was washed up where he hit the ground and no one hit him and he left the field and missed 5 games. He was already. Meanwhile, you got a stud on the bench in Freeman. It was not Cutter's decision. That offense was related to Matt Ryan getting the ball down the field, completion and numbers are up. It worked well. Right. That same coach got the Falcons, that offensive coordinator, even with the average head coach that we had. And you remember this, Dennis, because you were there. This average head coach that we had, that offensive coordinator that we now have, got this team with the offense to the NFC Championship game. Not only we only scored 17 points the first half, didn't do anything the second half, but you got to keep in mind the San Francisco 49ers had one of the best defenses that year in the league. Right. And that's not an excuse for only scoring 17 points. But I'm just using these as examples as why I believe Derek Cutter is the best fit for Matt Ryan now. No. Just like I said the other day, you keep saying these old guys, these guys that's been here before, they're better cut. Let me ask this question first to Atlanta. Do you think that Atlanta, that Derek Cutter is the right offensive coordinator for the Falcons? Or should they go out and find somebody experienced and new to come in and turn this program around? I'm going to put that question out there. Let me know. Janice, I want to comment on your last comment. I think you were talking about Drew Brees, and she said age is just a number. And yeah, it is in a way, but some people play longer than others, so I can agree with that. Let me throw that back at her. It is in real life, but not in football. Father Time win. Hey, put it out. Put this out here. Brett Favre. Brett Favre did it. Father Time win every time. Yes, sir. You can be a Saints fan all you want. Yeah. Your quarterback is on his way out. Oh, she's a Falcons. She like the Falcons now. Don't slam her now. She says she's a Falcons fan, but she just calling she's calling like she see it. Well, she can be whoever she want to be. I'm just telling her like it is. Father Time win no matter who you fan is or who your team is, and who that player is. Right. Drew Brees is not going to continue to play long after this year.
Drew Brees might have a very good effect on that organization for years to come. But on that field, throwing that ball down the field, it ain't finna happen too many years after this.
Listen. Okay, let me say this then. You talking about Drew Brees. What about Matt Ryan? So what you're telling me, I think what you're trying to say is that Matt Ryan is in his prime and he got another 7-8 years here in Atlanta. We don't have a backup quarterback. Luckily, Matt Ryan's been healthy all this time. I mean, we had several injuries this year on the team. The Falcons don't even have a backup, and one thing that I'm depending on, I'm hoping that they'll get a backup quarterback in here just in case something go down with that quarterback. I feel some kind of way about next season. And like I told you, the reason I feel that way is because I think we need to move on. It could work in a way, but I don't think these guys are going to bring anything new to the table. They're going to go back to the old ways. They're going to go back to the old ways of doing things.
It's going to be too much experience on that sideline. You got one of the best defensive coordinators in this game in Dan Quinn. Now, you could say he's a head coach, but Dan Quinn proved he was a DC in Seattle.
Uh-huh.
Dan Quinn has proved since he's been a Falcon that this defense is a lot better. And Dan Quinn has said, I'm going to run that. Guess what the organization did? Okay, we're going to give you a para coach. We'll give you a para coach. That coach is going to be designed just to point out the little small thing that you can miss while you running this defense. Great move. Now we got an experienced offensive coordinator. Been in the game for 13 years.
Okay, we're gonna see what he can do. We're gonna see what he can do. I don't like that, but hey, look, I don't like him being a head coach and defensive coordinator at the same time because I think he need to be a head coach and be able to manage this team because I think we had a quality defensive coordinator in. I don't think it was fair they got rid of him because of the record. But at the same time, I want to see Dan Quinn be a head coach first. Learn how to be a head coach because he hadn't been a head coach that many years.
But he's proven to me. Do you believe that in the first 4 years that he's proven that he can be a head coach? And let me also add, Andy Reid, Sean Payton, the Malaki, the kid, not Malaki, but McCarthy up in Green Bay, who was just fired. All those three guys I just named are all offensive guys who are also head coaches. Literally, the head coach of the the Philadelphia Eagles, head coach calling the plays. He reading off the same pad with a headphone on, just like Sean Payton. I said that because these guys have proven that you can do multiple jobs.
Yes, I agree with that, but you better believe that.
So why can't Dan Quinn do the same thing as a defensive coordinator?
He's not doing a great job as a head coach right now. He's on the hot seat. If he wasn't on the hot seat, I would say, yeah. But he's on the hot seat. You coming back now, you want to take over and you want to run the defense.
He's getting this right. Let me add this one thing about Matt Ryan.
We're going to see.
Let me add this one thing about Matt Ryan, ladies and gentlemen. Peyton Manning showed up to 2 or 3 years ago, that the day have come where a quarterback can play up into his late 30s and early 40s.
Uh-huh.
And that has been also proven with Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Phillip Rivers. And I said that to say this. Matt Ryan can easily play for another 10 years.
Man,
Matt Ryan, 33
please,
years.
hold on.
Matt Ryan, 33 years. 33 years
he ain't
old.
gonna do it,
He
buddy.
signed one of the biggest contracts ever as a Falcon quarterback and had one of his best seasons ever. Best season ever. Every time I hear someone famous,
in his whole career, if I don't want to make this a Matt Ryan bashing session, and I'm not trying to do that, man. But you keep bringing
Matt Ryan.
No. I said Matt Ryan he did a good job this year, but the right plays wasn't called. One of the problems I got with Matt Ryan is that sometimes the quarterback got to take the team on his back and make the right plays, or take that ball and shove it up the middle and get that first down. And he's not doing that, man. He's not doing it. He's not taking the ball when we need a first down. He need to take charge as a quarterback and get the ball to the first down marker. We don't need to throw it. If we need 10 yards, we don't need to throw it 9 yards. If we need a first down, we need the quarterback so he can get it. We need to put that ball across the line. And a quarterback going to have to, especially in this playoff, watch Drew Brees. You want to watch a quarterback? Watch Drew Brees. I don't like the Saints. I'm not a big fan of Drew Brees, but I like talent. And I tell you what, Matt Ryan can learn from Drew Brees if he watched him. And that's that. You know him right. You know him right.
You are right, but listen, we can't do nothing about what we have because he is what we're going to keep. Matt Ryan will be a Falcons till he either get hurt or till he retires.
But if he gets hurt next year, we don't have a backup, man.
The best thing the Falcons organization can do is get him get a decent young backup and also put players around him. I heard a commentator I knew all today say on the radio who used to be a commentator here in Atlanta, and he's now in New Orleans. Big New Orleans fan from New Orleans. The question was asked of this guy, Bobby Hebert. You probably heard of him.
Bobby played
They
here.
asked him, Bobby Hebert used to play with the Falcons.
Yes.
Was a commentator here with the Falcons. He's now in New Orleans, where he's from, commentating down there. They asked Bobby Hebert, said, what do you think the Falcons need? What do you think of the Falcons? He said the Falcons' problem to him is being on the interior line. They don't have the toughness of players that can get down and get the dirty and do what they need to do to make this team a very, very tough team to beat.
Right.
He said, when you look at them, they can score. When you look at them, they got a good defense.
Right.
But when it comes down to the trenches, they are lacking, and they have not had that strength in a while. I couldn't agree more. They can go out and get all of these coaches. They can keep giving Matt Ryan this money and Julio and signing all these players. But until they solidify that offensive and defensive line,
one question for you.
By getting guys that can really push off, they got to be able to do that to make. You're never going to let Matt Ryan be the fullest of he can be if you can't protect him. You're never going to have that defense doing what they ought to do if they can't put pressure on that opposing quarterback.
Should the Falcons sign Julio Jones to a max contract next year?
Yes, they should.
I can't believe you said that.
Yes, they should.
I can't believe you said that, man. Why? Tell me why.
I would say the same thing as I said to you when I said that before. The only way they should do that if it does not affect the other players on this team when it comes to contracts.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold. Let's go back since you said that. You remember last year we talked about the new contract with Matt Ryan, and Drew Brees had a new contract as well, and Drew Brees took a pay cut to make sure his team was taken care of first. Matt Ryan didn't. His greedy butt wanted to make sure he got all the money he can get, and look what happened. Now he ain't got nobody to block for him. So, you know what? We talked about that last year. Matt Ryan wanted all the money he could get. That's one of the problems I got with him. He's all about self, man. He's all about self. He should have stood back and said, you know what, Coach? Before you give me my contract, let's make sure we got some decent people up front that's going to block and going to be able to take me so we can take this team to the next level. But he didn't say that, man. And I heard that, and I was disappointed with that. And the result,
don't know how true.
And he got the results where we are right now.
I don't see Matt Ryan. Let me say this, because I don't know him, and we don't know the details of what happened in the contract negotiation. But I will say this: from what I see him as a player and leader of this team, he does not appear to be a selfish player. He's not a prima donna like a lot of these quarterbacks. He's nowhere near like Cam Newton, who's been reported to may have to miss the entire next year due to a shoulder surgery he's having all season. Matt Ryan have led this team in the best way a quarterback could lead. I have no problem with him. I go back to your original question. Should the Falcons pay Julio Jones? Yes. If it means they're going to lose some key players to pay him, I would really, really reconsider that. Another thing I would take into full account, Julio Jones is getting up in age himself. And Julio Jones is repeatedly each year, due to his ability to catch and dominate the game, is getting beat up a lot. Therefore, he's getting a lot of injury. And the Falcons got to be careful and not to eke him to a long-term deal. You may give him a healthier deal on the front end, but stretching him out over the life or over a long term that could possibly hurt the team, I think they have to reconsider that. You can compare it to Matt Ryan all you want, but it's no comparison. Why? There's no more valuable player on this ball club and as well as on any club than the quarterback. There's the quarterback, particularly if he's good, is the most valuable player on the Falcons. I'll say this all the time. The most valuable Falcon is Matt Ryan. The most talented Falcon is Julio Jones. The most impactful Falcon is Julio Jones. The most needed Falcon is Matt Ryan. I could go back and forth using adjectives back and forth to say, and I'm not comparing these two guys, but what I am saying
let me ask you one question.
Both of these guys are very valuable to the Falcons.
Let me ask you one question. You think Matt Ryan would have got the yards he got without Julio Jones?
No. No, he would not have, because one of the reasons why there would have been probably more drops, there would have probably been less yards after catch, and there would have probably been less defensive focus necessary for guys who were not as talented as Julio Jones. This is why I've concluded this. If you haven't noticed this, I've concluded and been more favorable to Julio Jones, because what I have realized that the dude is so talented and so valuable to the Falcons that he can be helpful to them even if he's not catching the ball.
Right, exactly.
If he's not catching the ball, he just needs a deterrent based on his ability. He can block. He even I often look at
he draw a double team no matter where he is on the field, because the offense coordinator know when Julio's on the field. They dare not cover him.
Yes, I looked at a film clip the other day of him, 2 or 3 clips in different games where he literally was tackling guys that Matt Ryan had him overthrew to, and they were subject to intercept the ball, and some of them had caught the ball. And Julio Jones went from being a receiver to a cornerback. This dude is a talent specimen on this field. They got to have him here if they want to maintain at the level that they have. They will be foolish to let him go and not get something as valuable, not maybe in receiver, but in a key positions, not one, positions with the S. In return, and number 2, they'll be foolish to let him go to any team in the NFC. And try, if you're going to let him go to the NFC, don't let him go nowhere near the NFC South. They got to hold on to him. He's valuable, but don't hurt the team long term, because Matt Ryan will be here longer than Julio Jones.
Whatever.
Matt Ryan will be here longer than Julio Jones.
It depends.
Because
on
guess what?
It depends on injuries. It depends on injuries.
Well,
I know
right,
I know the Falcons thought they could bring Ridley in this year, and they was hoping that he was going to be able to replace Julio in the next couple of years, but he's not ready for that yet.
He could.
Nah, not in 2 years. He's not ready. He's not ready. In the NFL,
he's not ready
you just don't jump out there and
he's not ready now.
Don't come to number 1 receiver. Number
I'm
one, number 2
he's number 1 receiver now. You give this man from what I saw him this year, D. I would not. I could see him in when he's ready, 2 to 3 years from now, to be that number 1 receiver. I've seen enough of him this year that say he can do that.
Right.
One thing I question, but when I started to compare his size, I said, well, he's small. But when I compare his size to the likes of Antonio Brown, when the likes of Odell Beckham, those guys are not big, but they're dynamic guys that's impactful, and this guy can do the same thing. He got a lot of fire. He come out of Alabama. He's got speed. Oh my goodness!
It's more to football than that, Eddie. It's more to football than that. It's size isn't everything. It's being able to read the defensive back and knowing what your defensive back can do. How they defend you.
I didn't say
it takes more than a couple years. It's a game by game basis. Well, I didn't say he never could do it. I say he's not going to be ready in a couple of years to become the number 1 receiver. Because Julio, why would you get rid of the number 1 receiver or number 2 receiver? Most people would say 1 or 2. And bringing a guy that just is good.
What if Julio Jones go out there next year and have a 10-game injury, and you come to find out that this man is damaged good, and we can get something for him?
We'll be just like we was last year. This year we'll be just like this
10
year or worse.
I'm saying Julio's out of the game. This man has never missed. He's never missed 10 consecutive games. If Julio Jones go out there right now and miss 8 consecutive games, say Julio Jones become another Freeman right now in terms of the injury. When you start to question, wait a minute now, we got a Calvin Ridley sitting right there who's doing pretty good. Every game that he's not in the game, meaning Julio, that means more catches potentially going to Ridley. Ridley is your future.
Defensive coordinator is not going to put a double team on Ridley. Not now, not next year. You can forget that. Only Julio Jones.
I don't care how good a player is. He's no good to a team if he can't play. And Julio Jones have shown this. Julio Jones don't have a lot of weaknesses, but Julio Jones have shown this. He is somewhat injury prone. This man has constantly been injured.
But Julio Jones has also shown that during a week time, if he can be out all week long and do his workouts and come back in the ball game and still be able to perform and get the job done.
Yeah, but he's getting older, man. He's getting older.
Matt's getting older, man. Don't stop saying he's getting older. Matt Ryan is getting older. What I'm trying to make to you right now, man, is listen. We got to play as a team. It's a team. It's no I in it. I mean, like I said, I didn't want to slam Matt Ryan, but I'm not going out giving one person all the credit. I'm not giving Julio all the credit, man. The problem is, just like one of the persons online said, it's the coaching, man. It's the coaching. We got good players, even though we have players hurt. It's the coaching. Dan Quinn motto has always been, ever since we've been to the Super Bowl, is next man up. He always been have people in the practice squad or people that's supposed to be able to step in and take over. We had 2 good running backs. What happened to the second one? We started this season off in the last 2 years. We were known for having 2 good running backs. All of a sudden we get one hurt, and all of a sudden now we crippled. Come on, man. We losing ball game. Somebody ain't calling the right play. That's just the bottom line. We can't. One of the biggest problems that we have is that we do not go when we need a first down. We throwing the ball short. And as a former coach, I told you, I go online, I watch these things, man. Teams like New England and some of these teams that's winning. But they need a first down, they throw the ball for a first down. They throw it 12 yards and get 10, 11. But we can't throw the ball 3 yards. We can't throw the ball across the field. We can't try to throw a screen pass. That our quarterback needs help. He can get the job done. There's some things he can do and some things he can't do. I'm not here to slam Matt Ryan. I give Matt Ryan credit for things he's done. But the bottom line is that we need the right coaching to make it happen. And bringing these guys back, Derek Cutter? I'm trying to look at the thing here. Bringing him back from before, hey, we'll see. We'll see. Because I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the spring. We can't have what we had last year. We can't come out there and play half football and not be ready for the game. Because these guys are coming back, we got to be ready. I give Matt Ryan credit last year for taking Julio and some of these other guys out and then practicing over the summer. I give him credit for that, man. Austin Hooper is now at the back of the Pro Bowl because of that.
And add to that, it proved to be effective because now you got a tight end who's now a Pro Bowl selection.
Austin Hooper, I just said that.
He's going to start. Julio Jones had one of his better years, even though he was fighting for a good contract. Matt Ryan has a better year, and it ain't all about the offense, but the offense is important. But I do agree with you and some of the other callers. I mean, Facebook come in is that this team has enough talent to be where they should be this coming Sunday.
Right.
And it's just a matter of coaching, making the right, and the guy got to deliver. That's why I'm going back to these off the season moves. We are making a safe best move. I believe the Falcons are destined to have one of their best years. I don't care what anybody say about the Falcons' past season. You cannot be fair in your assessment of what their season were without including injuries played a major role. Injuries played a major role on both sides of the ball.
I'm going to say it now. I said it earlier, and I'm going to say it again before next season even starts. One team that we're going to have to beat, and we got to beat them. We got to beat them at least once, if not twice, to have any chance of playing in the playoff is New Orleans Saints. These guys coming back next year. The one thing I get Sean Payton credit, he got players ready to go. He got rid of, what he did. You know what he did the first of the season. He recognized talent, and that's one thing we got to do.
Ready to go.
He ready to go. He recognized talent. In the beginning of the season, he got rid of what's that boy, Adrian Peterson. A lot of people wonder why is he getting rid of Adrian Peterson. He all of a sudden found out that it was this last year, right? Last year, he all of a sudden found out that Kamari was a hidden gem. And he made it work. Yep. And see, that's what. And the one thing the New Orleans Saints have this year more than they had in the past, their defense. Their defense stepping up because they always had the offense, but they just didn't have the defense.
Another thing you got to give them credit for, they found a crown jewel in that receiver they got. Thomas is his name.
Yeah. This
dude be making a lot of catches, man. He's a beast. He has good hands. He catch that ball in traffic. I'd be surprised when I don't see him drop. When I don't see him drop something. He always catch the ball. They have a very good point. It has to start with you winning your division. And we even though Tampa's getting a new coach, and there could be a spike in their play because they were talented, not as talented as the others in the NFC, but they had enough talent to be better than what they were. And even though that quarterback they have had a bad off season. He came into the year on a down note. He still could have potential. We don't know just yet what he could be, but I still believe the Falcons are better than Tampa, and they could be better than Carolina. Carolina took a step back last year. They brought in a new offensive coordinator. They felt that their head coach was on the hot seat. He didn't lose his job, but as I said earlier in our conversation, Cam Newton, the word is out that he has to have major shoulder surgery in this offseason. It's very likely they say he could miss the entire year next year. With that said, we don't have to worry about them as much, although they're still a threat. But it's back to what you said. The number one team that we got to beat at least once or twice are New Orleans Saints. For us to be leaders in this division, we got to contend with the Saints.
Yep. But if you don't beat the Saints, you can pretty much forget it. And a lot of people look at the schedule. You know, we talked about this earlier too. Also, numbers. A lot of people look at numbers. I like numbers as well. And numbers tell you a lot about the team, and actually, individual numbers tell you a lot about your players. And what do they qualify? Are they doing what they're supposed to do? But the bottom line is the win. It doesn't matter about the numbers if you don't win. And our numbers did not. They added up on certain players in certain places. But the bottom line is just like we talking about the playoffs. If you don't win the game, it doesn't matter what you did in the regular season. I don't care how well you played or all this other good stuff. But
right.
the Falcons are in second place in the division. But guess what? Don't let the numbers fool you. Just because they're in second place, it was because Cam Newton got hurt and we beat, at the end of the season. So sometimes you got to look at more than just numbers. You got to look at
there's a lot of factors. But you got to take you can't rule out the fact this year, D. We beat everybody in the division twice, except the New Orleans Saints. We lost to them twice. That was our only two losses in the division. One of those games, and possibly two. Look at despite all of the injury we had, we were in both games. That game in the first time we played New Orleans came down to who had the ball last. And our defense could not stop New Orleans on that last drive.
Let me add to that. One team's quarterback took charge and took his team to the victory.
But see, we did not have. We had no defense.
You can't
them
make
guys
it.
Them guys scored 45 points on us in the first game.
And what did we score?
You give Drew Brees too much credit.
No.
You give too much credit.
How many points did we score? How many points?
We scored 37.
37 points, and they scored 30. They won by a touchdown last 3 minutes of the ball game. Now, I'm not giving them credit. I'm saying that. So you don't jumped out there on Drew Brees. I didn't say nothing about Drew Brees. I said one quarterback took his team to the victory.
I cannot say definitively that they would not have did the same thing.
And we was at home and should have had the home field advantage. I got a problem with that. A lot of people had a problem with that.
Home is a plus, but it ain't a total guarantee.
I didn't say that.
I do say before we went into overtime in that first game. Before we went into overtime, we had the ball last. We had a chance to drive, at least get the field goal. We didn't. Things happen, but here's what I'm simply saying. That game we could have won. It was a close game. In the second game, we were doing pretty well to Julio Jones. Got the ball ripped out of him on a big play where he was headed toward the end zone just before halftime. To me, that play right there changed the momentum. Now, whether Atlanta would have won, I don't know, and I doubt they would have because all season, if you can't stop people, one of the things that Abear said today, he said one of the advantages the Falcons have is they got a very good defense and they have a head coach that is a defense-minded guy. If the Falcons get this defense back to where we know it could be, you get Keanu Neal back healthy. You get Debo Stone in the middle back. You get a nice faded Jerry. You get a push on that front four. You get a nice safety over there. You get Ricardo Allen. You get all of these defensive players. You get KZ, the kid that came up this season. You can't tell me this defense can't come back to stop the pitch. And I don't care how good New Orleans is. New Orleans got to contend with us defensively. The test is what Abel said about the Sunday game. This team right now, they playing Sunday got Donovan McSue. And Donovan McSue play when he get ready to play. And when he get ready to play, Donovan McSue is a beast. Abel said he's fearful of them boys because they running game, he said, their offensive line and that run game that Todd Gurley brings to them is so dynamic. If they get it going, New Orleans is going to be in trouble. He said he's fearful. He said New Orleans cannot come out and slow like they did in the Philly game. Right. He said because if that happens, they won't be able to come back. He's fearful that they got to come out fast. New Orleans can be beat. They can be beat, and we don't prove that we can beat them. I'm not as physical to them as I was with Mike Smith, because defense beat good offense all day. And if we get this defense where it should be, we can play New Orleans. We beat everybody in the division last year twice, except New Orleans, and we should have won one of them games. It just didn't happen because we could not stop them. We couldn't stop. Team averaged 37 points in 8 games on our defense this year. 37 points? You telling me Pittsburgh scored 45, New Orleans scored 45, Cincinnati scored 43. I mean, on our defense, come on, man, you can't stop nobody if you can't stop them and they scoring that many points. You're not going to outscore teams if they're going to come back and do the same thing in your home turf. The Falcons got to win most of their games, and I believe they can do it because this conference has gotten good. Dallas and Philly is good. You got the Rams are good. New Orleans are going to be good. Okay? Those are solid teams right there. And I think the Falcons can be in that mix. But we got to win. It's almost now in NFL. Let me say this as I let you respond. The NFL is such that it's almost like college. Yeah, there are a lot of parity in the NFL, meaning there are a lot of teams pretty much equal. But if you ought to be able to stand out among that parity, you got to win almost all of your games, and most teams that get there lose only 1, 2 to 3 games. If you look at every one of these teams in the Final Four right now, the most losses any of the team has is 3 games. I think New England has 4.
Yep, that's why they didn't have home field advantage.
You got to do that, and I think the Falcons can do it. But they got to win them close games. See, if you take 7 games that we lost close games, we won 9 games last year. You take 7 of our losses, and you give us half of those, which we had 5 of those losses were last possession, ball could either way. Just say we got 3 of those 5. See, we could have easily been 10 wins. And that's with our defense had a complete hole in the middle. We literally had no running game. That's why Coleman is gone, and he need to be. Unless they can't get nothing for him, Coleman need to be gone. We need a healthy Freeman back. We had no running game, man. None. I like the Falcons' chances, man. And if those coaching moves prove to be what I think they can be, I look for us to be right where New Orleans are right now next year.
All right, big time, man. I'm going to close this thing out. It's been a hot show, man. I know you got to go tonight, and I appreciate you, man. And we're going to talk a little bit more on this, and I'm going to go ahead and do some closing comments. And thanks again, man. You want to hang up, and I'm going to keep it rolling and just let everybody know my comments on what we are going with this thing. You can listen if you like it, you can hang up. Guys, one thing for sure, that the Super Bowl will be played here in Atlanta, Georgia in 2 weeks in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. One thing we also know is the Atlanta Falcons will not be playing. Another thing that we know is that the NFC champions will be using the Atlanta Falcons facility. The Atlanta Falcons fans cannot stand it. I talk to people every day. The Falcons don't like it. The coaches don't like it. The administrators don't like it. We have no choice because we didn't do our job. We didn't stop the New Orleans Saints from getting in the Super Bowl. We didn't stop them from coming to Atlanta. Only thing we can do now is wish that the Rams can knock them out. We're in the mercy of the Rams. New England Patriots. We don't care for New England Patriots coming here. They beat us in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. They had the greatest comeback in NFL history. What can we do about it? Nothing. Because we had the opportunity. Coaching is a major factor in the NFL. You can have good players, but you got to have good coaches. That's why a decision was made to release the offensive coordinator for the Falcons. Also, a decision was made to bring back some coaches that was here before that did a good job when they were here. It's important that your quarterback and your offensive coordinator get along well together, and that way your team can be on track. And I think that's what the Falcons are looking at. To me, I call it a safe move. Personally, I would have went out and got somebody new because I know the NFL is always changing. You got new players coming in, younger players coming in, and changing this league. But right now, folks, you can't you can't stay the same. The way I look at it, you can't keep going back, bringing back all these people that you had before. One thing Dan Quinn did this year that I appreciate, and what I heard recently, is he hired a time management coach, or somebody that can watch the clock and let him know. We lost the Super Bowl primarily because nobody was watching the time. Nobody was looking at how much time was on the clock, and maybe we should run the ball instead of trying to throw the ball. We had to get a new coach 2 years ago. We lost Shanahan. He got a job. All coaches want to be head coaches. We can't blame that. This league continues to move. Players change, coaches change. We got to change. Don't get stuck in the mud. Don't get stuck with one player. Don't get stuck with one coach or several players or several coaches. Because at some point in time, NFL stands for not for long. There's not much more to say, folks. The Super Bowl is coming. With the Falcons, will it be the Falcons? No, we know that. The Saints, we don't know. Rams, we don't know. The Chiefs, we don't know. The Patriots, we don't know. But one thing for sure, by the end of this Sunday night, we will know who's coming to the Super Bowl. But who will win, we still don't know. Don't take it personal, Falcons fans. Don't take it personal, people out there. It's just fun. This is sports, entertainment, relaxation. Sit back and enjoy yourself. Because next year, we have a chance to start all over again, to the preseason, to the regular season, to the postseason, to get our shot at the championship. If you're watching this show now, or if you're watching it later, still send your comment in. We'll definitely check your comments. I'm going to write them down. We're going to talk about it next week. We want to hear what you guys say, Atlanta. This is The People Show. I'm DJ Thomas. This is The Mic is Hot. Don't forget, you can catch us. Let me get mine right there. You can catch us on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, TuneIn Radio, iTunes, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We love you, folks. See you next time on The Mic is Hot. I'm DJ Thomas, and we out.
Well said, D. Don't rush the